What's good, y'all? It's the 3MDs. My name is Derek.
Kennedy.
I'm Trevor.
All right, so we have the very well-renowned, the great Mr. Barrie over here, Umaru Barrie. He's an MD, PhD candidate in Texas. Man, this guy is incredible. He has a lot of gems for you guys today. So pretty much what we're going to be talking about is the MD path versus the MD, PhD path. And there's nobody better to give you the information than Umaru right here. So we're going to start off. Umaru, what passion of yours led you to choose medicine?
Awesome. Thank you so much to the Three Docs for inviting me to this great platform. It's always important to see individuals who are doing great work in order for you to envision yourself in that path yourself. Again, my name is Umaru. I'm currently a fifth-year MD PhD candidate at UT Southwestern Medical Center. What led me to this path? So there's been a couple of things that led me towards medicine overall. And the first thing is growing up in West Africa, in Guinea, I was able to basically see how the system operates. I was able to see what happens when a system fails its people. I always tell people to look at, for example, the life expectancy of individuals in Western nations. For example, America is about 80. And in my country, in Guinea, it's about 50. So, and guess what the retirement age is in America? It's about 65, 66, right? So basically individuals in my country are losing 15 years of their productive years just because of mainly health and they're losing all those years where they could be productive. So in my aspect, I think that health is wealth. And in order for us to tackle a lot of the problems that are relevant to our communities, we need to increase the health of our communities. And that's what the first thing that led me to medicine is what was happening in my home country. But after that, it was seeing all the health disparities. And I grew up in Harlem. So after leaving Guinea, I went to Harlem and just seeing all the lack of not only role models, but also the lack of things that are called now social determinants of health.
Right.
And these things are like things that are relevant to poverty, health literacy, among others, that really play a big role. And I saw those as things that are obstacles towards people in my community actually accessing care. So that's why those two together, what was happening back home and what's happening here in my community, led me towards medicine.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Yeah, Trev, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, you spoke a lot about role models. Did you have one particular role model throughout your path in medicine that you felt like really made you want to get into medicine, or like it was just a connection that clicked?
So for medicine, I didn't have a medical role model until I would say until I already knew I was going into medicine. So which is weird because so when I first was in high school, I know I had to apply for myself to go to a college and figure out that pathway for myself. And then when I was in undergrad, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just stumbling upon opportunities. And I always tell myself, I was always grateful to stumble upon the right opportunities every single time. Summer research, ooh, I can make money. Or next thing after that is like, ooh, research, I can do that. Medicine, I could do that too. So it was all like a self-directed thing. And my path would have been so much easier if I had role models, which I didn't get until I got accepted to this research program at Albert Einstein. And I had my first mentor, like a medical mentor, who was like, that's not the way you apply. That's not the way you do this. Fix that. Fix this. Your essay, I thought my essay was the bomb. And he took it and destroyed it, which I have done to some people.
You have. Hey, bro, I just, and for the viewers that are just watching, me and Umaru actually went to undergrad, and just going back to what you said about, being aware of your surroundings, being aware of your environment, and just looking at the social determinants, man, that's one thing that I can definitely say that I've seen you do, like, from the very beginning. Like, me and this guy went to undergrad, and personally, I owe a lot of just being able to learn about my surroundings, my community, because of this guy, because of how involved you were, just because of how passionate you were about making sure that those who are not being advocated for or have advocacy, you know what I mean? Like, you've always been about that. And it's just crazy because you're really the person to do a million things at once. Like, I know you're in your MD PhD program. I know right now you're currently editing essays. You're currently editing essays and trashing people right now, but sort of just leading how to actually approach it. So I just want to thank you for being an incredible example and an incredible mentor, you know, which is crazy. You also mentioned that, like, that's something that you didn't really have. And for me personally, since I know you so well, I could definitely speak to that, man. You've made my path a lot easier, a lot more efficient, man. And honestly, I owe part of this to you, you know. So I just want the viewers to just know that, you know, like, this guy is really about his word, and, you know, like, you pretty much do it all.
Thank
So,
you. And I think
yeah.
a lot of that is also making sure you build leaders as you go. Because one thing that we always fail to do as leadership is we fail to provide a path towards leadership, and we just see individuals as, I guess, followers, or we see individuals as like, just, okay, I'm helping, we're just working together. So one thing I always try to do is make sure everyone that's working with me have leadership roles that they can build and promote themselves and move forward, move towards, I guess, more of a leadership again and again and again. And then showing them how to do certain things and things that I've learned through my mentors, showing other people how to do that. Because that's the best thing. If you could teach someone how to be a leader, they could teach someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and then that becomes a chain of events to make sure, you know, we are passing. I guess that's how I think, you know, we build the pipelines, is teaching people how to be leaders, because then that leader can build other leaders, and then now we have a whole community of leaders in different, whether it's different paths or even if it's the same paths.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have any questions? Or?
Yeah, I just want to know. So, like, now that you're on the MD PhD route, can you just inform people on the difference between just an MD route that, like, the three of us are on, and then the MD PhD route that you're on, and why specifically you decided to tack on 3 years that I would have personally never done? So inform.
So it's at least 4 years.
Yeah.
Extra. I wish it was 3 years. Just kidding. So the MD PhD path affords you to become a physician scientist. Now, that doesn't mean an MD path you can't be a physician scientist. It just means that for the MD PhDs, you're equipped and you get the training earlier to be a physician scientist. Now, what does that mean? A physician scientist is a clinician who also does research at the same time. So academic physician. So what happens with that is the MD PhD is, as you mentioned, it is 4 to 5 years extra on top of the MD. So it becomes 8 to 9 years of a program. But what that leads to you to do is you basically get the medical degree, which teaches you how to be a clinician. You work with patients, and you can be a surgeon or a primary care or whatever you're interested in, physician path. And you could also be a scientist, which is what the PhD is. And these two are very different. In the MD path, you're basically memorizing knowledge. You are learning all of these things that patients may go through. In the PhD, it's the other side. You're creating the knowledge that the physicians will get. And I like that path. I want to create the knowledge. I want to learn how to think critically, because I think that's something that's missing from the medical path, because you're memorizing. In the medical path, in the PhD path, you're creating, and you're finding ways to troubleshoot that. And I feel like the PhD part makes you even a better physician, because what we do as physicians, we gather knowledge and we synthesize it, and we try to figure out what is happening. That same thing we do in PhD. We have like previous literature, and then we try to assess that in a way that makes sense for us to create new knowledge. So what this affords you to do, why not just why not MD, is that I wanted to get into research early, and that's what doing a combined degree. First of all, it's basically 8 years. If you do them separately, it becomes like 10 to 11 years. And this affords you to get in early. It's always important for science for you to get in early, learn how to write grants, learn how to write papers, learn how to publish, learn how to be in a scientific environment, learn how to interact with other people, teach other people all your scientific methods. And all of these things, if I were done MD path, as you guys know, you won't be able to do it through your MD path. You would have to do it later. So a physician scientist, for me, affords me the ability to be flexible, to learn how to critically think, but also it fits well with my future and visions of helping building health infrastructure in underdeveloped nations.
Wow. Actually, it's just crazy that you said that, bro, because I know that we personally have spoken about some of your ambitions within, but outside of medicine as well. So, I mean, obviously, you know, you really spoke to the fact that you like to create, but as an MD, PhD, right? what is it? What are some aspirations that you're looking forward to do that you couldn't do without the PhD aspect of it? Like, what are your bigger plans in a sense?
So if I didn't have the PhD, I would have to learn somewhere else how to write grants. And that's a big skill that many, I would say, MDs are missing. How to write grants, how to write IRBs, how to write protocols, how to troubleshoot your protocols, how to troubleshoot experiments, how to troubleshoot knowledge or results, how to basically take the results and then discuss it. That's missing from a lot of things. How to write papers, very important. Like for you to be a successful academic physician, whether it's just you doing clinical research or whatever, you need to learn those main skills. And for me, I'm interested in not only being a physician, but also doing community health, global health, academic medicine. So which means basically running organizations and running things. And I feel like the PhD, because of the extended amount of time and because of the amount of people that I interact with in lab, all the presentations I do and stuff like that, that helps me basically and work on those skills constantly, because I'm always presenting and writing. So that's how the PhD helps me become even better every single day, honestly.
Yeah, I got a question for that too. So like,
yeah.
going that MD PhD route, what specialty are you thinking of going into, and then like, how do you see your career panning out? As far as, do you see yourself doing half research, half clinical work, or you feel like you're going to be more on the research side and, you know, the clinical side is going to have to follow a little bit? Or like, how do you see your career working out?
So my career will be out of the ordinary, I would say, because, you know, I told this to Derek before too. So after my MD PhD training, I'll do residency. And after that, 5 years after that, I plan to get out of the US, honestly. I feel like I'm more needed in underdeveloped nations, and that's my long future path. Along with that, so for residency, I'm interested in surgical specialty, honestly, because I feel like I like the aspect of rehabilitating and basically working towards you know, people who can't ambulate, fixing them right there and then, so the instant gratification. And also I feel like many of the surgical specialty or surgical things are underdeveloped in underdeveloped nations. So I want to be able to go back and, through being a surgeon, develop not only residency programs in different nations that I go to in the African continent, but also do some surgical quality improvement research at the same time while doing public health research. And at the same time, trying to help build some health infrastructure in different countries. Because my long-term goal is either to create like a specific type of healthcare model, healthcare business model that will basically provide access to care for many different places throughout the African continent. Basically like Kaiser Permanente, but different branches in the African continent.
That's a live vision, bro, and that's something I would definitely like to be a part of when you do get to that point, man. Because I feel like especially for us, first generation like Africans who are in the U.S., you know what I mean? Of course, yes, we're learning medicine to practice in the U.S. too, but we also shouldn't forget the place that our parents came from, the place that we go and visit on the holidays, man. Like, life is different out there, and we should definitely use the blessings we got here in the U.S. and probably give it back to our people back home.
So I agree 100%. And that's why, as I do all of my global health stuff, I'm always grateful for being here. That's why I said I'll practice here first after my residency training and stuff like that, and then just help out build programs here. But my long-term vision is to be where I'm needed the most. And, you know, just looking at the population growth of Africa and all the different countries within Africa, it's poised to be like most people will be in Africa and probably in the next century or so. So, and that comes with challenges that, of course, you know, if you know the historical aspects of Africa, you know, there's a lot of issues that were caused by colonialism and slavery and all of that. But I feel like we are more capable of actually going back and helping out, because I want to do a reverse brain drain. Like right now, us being here, we're taking away from all of the intellectuals that left. But I want to go back and actually find a way to not make individuals, but like provide an avenue for people to have a choice to stay. to basically be like, hey, I'm a physician. I'm staying here to help build here and build the health structure here, because that's the only way we're going to actually move forward. It will be difficult, of course, but we have to start somewhere. And there have to be individuals who are thinking beyond the finances, thinking beyond just like the day-to-day. Like, if I go to Africa, there's corruption and all of that. I understand that. But if we don't go back, who will?
That's real.
That's powerful, man. Honestly, that even just, I know we've spoken about it before, but just like still hearing you break it down, it still like gives me chills, man. Just goes to show and a testament to your character and how ambitious you are. Like that definitely rubs off on me, seeing you be able to do so many things and aspire to want to do great and to impact, your surroundings so positively. It's infectious, and I'm really appreciative of that. So another thing that I want to ask, like, obviously, with us being Black men in medicine, is for many of us, right? There are a lot of efforts, and I'm glad that, more notice is being like put on that. Like that's an actual thing. And, there are some initiatives to try and help that. Yes. But I can even imagine that as a Black man in an MD PhD program, like, I'm not sure you see too many people that look like you. So how do you navigate your way in that space? Like, what are some, from a Black man looking out, right? Do you think are some misconceptions that some of us may have, and how have you navigated your space within that?
So I'll start with, like a typical story of whenever I try to get my administrators to increase the number of minorities. So I always say, we have to recruit more and retain more. The first thing they say is, but we don't want to we don't want to just let anyone in. That's the mentality. That's the frustration with this. Every time we say increase the number of minorities, they say, but we don't want to water down our standards. Like every single time you would hear that, be like, oh, you just want letting anyone in, because they feel like every time you say diversify, it means you have to basically settle for we're not telling you that. We're just telling you look at a person as a whole, as a holistic, and that's a big problem with an MD PhD. Like it's a huge problem. So for my class, for example, there's 3 Black males out of for the MD PhD, it's 8 years. So there's 96 MD PhDs in my school. Out of that is 3 Black and 6 Latino. So 3% Black, the general population is like 12 to 13. So every single time we say this is unacceptable, if 1 Black female drops out, then that means there's no Black females anymore, because there's 2 Black males, 1 Black female. So that's the first problem. And then when you explain to them everything that has to do with why there's not that many, or why there's not that many of us, they see it as an excuse when it's really not. Like, I say, hey, I have to focus on trying to get a job. So everything that was unpaid for volunteering, I would look at that as like, nah, I'm not volunteering. But meanwhile, kids that were born rich or like things, they could volunteer. They could do the free internships. They would have no problems. But for us, we have to think about the money, because, well, we're basically paying rent, helping our family survive, evictions and all of that. We have to think about all of that. So like, think about the person along with all of those things, and then think about how that person thinks beyond that. So that's the first problem. The second problem is, since there's not that many of us around, you find yourself in settings that are uncomfortable, and people saying things that's like, what? Because like, for example, one of my friends, where he got an award, and one of his lab members basically told him, oh, you got that award because you were Black. Yeah. So like, even though like, or if I was to tell someone, oh yeah, I got this diversity, but of course you got the diversity award, you're the only Black person here. Like, they would say things like that. That was just like, I know it's because I put in my work. No, I know because I'm not, what, like, and that's stuff like that where you got to walk in. Like, I always tell, like, humility, what? Like, because you got to walk in and be like, yeah, I know what I did to get in here. I know what my worth is. But some of these individuals, I feel like every time you are in the medical school or in these spaces of higher learning, you got in because they let you in because you're affirmative action. But meanwhile, you be the one to lead every single organization. Boy, be the one to run everything. Bro. Like everything, like seriously. And then you come in here, you're working with kids that went through the Harvards and things like that, and you see that and be like, you just got the numbers. I got the numbers. I got also the community service, the personality, the character, like all of these
You
things
go back on the
made me who I
personality.
am.
Say that one more time, bro.
Like the personality matters. Like you work with some kids and you're just like, I don't understand why you feel like I got in here to affirmative action where you can't even put one event together, or you can't think A plus A together, but you can memorize stuff, but can you think? I think that's the difference. Us, because of the environment that we grew up in, and many of us, we could critically think and assess situations, whether that's because, the neighborhoods that we grew up in are crazy, but, you learn certain skills that other people don't learn because of how, the environments were. So, but I think people will always doubt your skills. That's why I tell, let your skills, let your paper speak. Like, let whatever hard work that you do speak for itself, because then people will see. You don't have to argue with anyone. Whenever they say something, just be like, okay, like that's it.
Go ahead, Trav. Yeah.
That's a real thing that was just said right there. And going on that, like, it seems like mentorship is one of the biggest things for people who aren't in this space. Especially for, you, of course, because you're a Black male in a unique space, being an MD, PhD. I mean, just being a Black male in medicine is unique in itself, But it's really hard when you tell somebody to seek out mentorship when you don't really know what that entails, right? And then when someone seeks you out, it's like, how should a mentor or a mentee seek you out? Like, how would you want a mentee to come at you? Would you want them to send you their letters? Like, I just know that there's so many people going to be attacking you from so many angles of like, hey, can you teach me to do this? And to be a real mentor, I feel like you have to give all of yourself to that one person and literally guide them through the way. And it's hard to do that when you have so many other people. So what do you look for in a mentee?
So there's two ways of doing this. The first way, I post every single time. Like, if you need help, contact me, because some people may not just go to you because they feel like you reject them. Because a lot of people reject people for no reason, And I always post every single 3 to 6 months. I'll post if you need help with the MCAT, personal statements, whatever. Reach out to me. I mean, I don't have that much time, but I feel like still that 30 minutes you speak to one person will change their life. Like now, like today, I literally have a list of like 70 mentees I spoke to during the past 8 months now. And it ranges from freshmen all the way to people who are basically doing a career over and now are looking into post-bac programs. So all I do is, if they email me, I have a document of resources. I send it to them, guides basically, and I tell them, call me on Sunday or Saturday for 30 minutes. And within that 30 minutes, I have a whole spiel now that I talk about. I go from beginning to end, MCAT, recommendation letters, and then the path. And then we go through that. If it's like post-bac, I just send them a link to post-bacs. And like all that takes me 30 minutes, like 30 minutes to an hour. But I feel like, we have enough time to do all those things if you schedule it properly. And I reach out to my mentees. I have a list of their emails. I just BCC and they're like, hey, how are you? I don't know. Like, I just say, hey, how are you? How's the process going? And all of them reply. So that's how I keep going. Every single 2 months, I write all of them, be like, hey, how are you? How's process medicine going? If they're in medicine, they will write back and be like, it's going good, or are you going bad? Or they text me. If they text me late at night, I reply back. So it's like personal, but also, it's not burdensome. They understand I'm busy. So when I schedule time to speak to them, they actually come through. But I feel like there's not enough of us doing any of that. Because like if I alone got like 70 plus people, that means how many other people got? And sometimes you're like, well, busy. Oh, my busy. I feel like all that is really an excuse overall, because I'm telling you, 30 minutes can change someone's life. Literally, some girl that I mentored, and I was just showing her the pathway. I'm like, what do you need? And then in the 30 minutes, we went through everything. Like I was able to help her out like really, really well, and just show her different things and give her the gems. And then she was able to go through that and actually get into medicine. So, man, things like that.
Yep, definitely, bro. Just a quick note on that. Like, it just brings me back to memories of when I was about to send in my application with the essay, with the secondaries and everything. And before someone was like, you know what, let me just reach out. Let me just get a second opinion, another opinion. I remember sending it to you, and by the time we were done, that thing was just completely different from what I wrote. You understand what I mean? And it's like, who knows? There's a chance that I would not have been here if not for that, you know? So I think, you know, just going back and talking about mentorship, I think it's incredibly important. And I fully 100% agree with what you're saying. Now, to sort of kind of quickly diverge, you are MD, PhD, so quickly elaborate on some of the things that you've been doing research, and if you don't mind, and like how you've been like cranking out these papers, like what have you been doing, like, you know, in terms of that space, like, you know.
I guess,
better yet, what is your favorite research paper that you've published thus far, like, and what is the importance behind it?
So I would say, so I actually get involved with multiple different things because I believe in exercising my brain to be able to do multiple things because my future relies on doing multiple things. So I told you I'm interested in community health, basic science, research, basic community health, basic science, clinical science, or neurosurgery research, and academic research as well. So these are like the different types of research. So as an MD PhD, my department is molecular microbiology. So I study basically host pathogen interaction in leishmaniasis, which is a tropical disease. So with that, right now it's in the beginning stages. Basic science takes a while to publish. It takes so long, it's crazy. So it's not like clinical research where you can pump out a paper like that. But in terms of like community health / global health, you know, I did 2 different research projects on that. One is on HIV/AIDS prevalence and adherence to HIV medicine in Uganda. But also we did another research on child mortality in Uganda as well. So with those, the HIV one, we actually just got a revision. You know, the process is brutal, so we got to revise that paper. But for community health, I'm interested in patient navigator programs, homelessness, and different types of research related to social determinants of health and the health disparities. But like in academic medicine, I'm interested more in basically assessing how we can help, I guess, help medical students become more socially conscious. So with that, we have a paper right now on of a medical elective that we created here called Healthcare in Some Communities that we have basically written out and we submitted. That's still not published. So the things that are published right now are the neurosurgery research projects, which span from looking at cervical neurocysticosis to looking at transfusion to looking at multiple different projects on spine and I guess neurological problems. I guess my favorite paper, honestly, the one I think will have the most impact is will be the academic medicine one, because medical students will be the ones to drive everything forward, especially when it comes to helping alleviate some of the health disparities in our communities.
All right, man, that's incredible, bro. That's really incredible. So we actually have, this thing is telling us we have about 5 more minutes left. So Trev is gonna ask you a question that we always ask each of our viewers in terms of like a fun fact. So, you know, podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So Trev, you're much better at phrasing that. So
I think you just phrased it right there, but you can tell the people listening, what are some podcasts that you listen to? What are some books that you feel like changed your life? Or what are some hobbies outside of medicine that you think prepare you for life outside of medicine? What would you say?
So for podcasts, I like historical podcasts or podcasts that make me think or help me think more. So I like the Ezra Klein show, which is good. Today Explained is like just a podcast. Every day they explain what happened in the news today. And then there's also a Through Line, is basically where they look at a problem today and they see how through history that problem reached out. So there was one on Hong Kong, just the whole history of Hong Kong. They talked about voting rights. They talked about presidential powers. I was like, wow, that's why Trump has a lot of power now. So basically all through that, how that expanded.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's called Through Line.
Through Line?
Like THROGH line. It's a great one. Code Switch is amazing. That one you just talk about racial problems and racial etiquette, like there's things that have to do with racial dynamics in America. That was amazing. So those are the main ones that I listen to. And then of course there's like the Robin Hood one and like all other financial ones that I listen to as well.
Elaborate on that. We got like 5 minutes. Why don't you quickly elaborate on like in terms of like financial like hobbies and stuff? Because I know you've spoken to me about that before.
Yeah, so everyone should be financially literate, even if it's just learning how to how to trade stocks or what stocks are, what shares are, what everything are. That's how America's middle class built its income, and that's how we will become free overall. As what was Robert Smith said, you have to fall in love with the money. It's not a bad thing to understand how money works. For example, you could double your income by just learning how to invest properly, or leaving your money in this, not leaving it, but like trading smart. And there's multiple different tools. There's Stash, there's Acorn, there's Robinhood, there's like even ones that invest in real estate, like Fundrise. There's so many different. You can even invest in early companies now to like start engine, like so many different things. And you learn, because one thing you find as a physician, you'll start, if you're having already all these people who are like financial advisors will start creeping up to you because they know you're gonna make six figures. So but you understanding money, understanding how stock work, no one can cheat you out of the game because you understand how it works. Even if it's investing $100, just learn. And like a lot of my news feed is about stocks, how the stock market works, and just learning what the feds are. Like all of that really helps you in the future. Because start early, then maybe you lose $100 right now, but it's better to lose that than later lose like hundreds of thousands of dollars because you don't know how the stock market works. And financial freedom is a beautiful thing overall.
Thank you so much for elaborating.
Your hobbies.
So my hobbies include, like, I go hiking. I got a camera. I bought a camera, so I go take pictures. And like traveling, I've been to like 32 countries.
Hey, no, that's a flex, bro. Go ahead. I was just I thought I was doing something.
Yeah, you doing all these stuff. It's crazy.
So like, yeah, like I believe in seeing the world and just trying to make sure you understand cultures and you could be socially competent overall, because that makes you a better human. Like I meet sometimes some patients are like, oh yeah, I'm from Ethiopia, or I'm from this country. It was like, hey, I've been there. Oh yeah, I've been to that city. Yeah. Oh, you been to Addis Ababa? I was like, yeah, I've been to Addis Ababa. I remember, yeah, I went to the United Nations thing. And like, oh wow, I live right there. And you start instant connections. Like literally they open up after that like this. And he's like, just because you've been to where they from and where they love, or like if you tell them, yeah, I've been there, yeah, but like, oh, you remember this food? I'm like, yeah, I remember that food. And it just becomes like, it makes you a better physician too, because you can speak to them about their experiences. Like it's amazing. That's why I try to reach as many countries as possible and try to learn as much as possible. But absolutely difficult to manage things, but you can do it. It's not impossible. Like managing your schedule to be able to read, managing your schedule to be able to look at the financial markets, managing your schedule to have mentees, managing your schedule to write papers, even though you got shelf exams or you have to study for internal medicine or whatever. But you have to schedule that in there because, medicine would just keep woo. But all these other things, you got to learn them. Like you got to learn them too. Learning how to do taxes. We never learned that in school. Learning how to be financial literate. Learning how to, be happy overall. Like all the stuff is things that that warms your soul. It keeps you sane. Like I am involved because it keeps me sane. If I wasn't doing all of that stuff, honestly, I'll be like, yeah, it wouldn't be fulfilling for me. The medicine is cool and all, but it's the means to an end. Okay.
Hey, you for coming on the show, and just giving a lot of our viewers a lot of your wisdom, a lot of your experiences, and I really hope that you guys are watching. Whoever's watching this, you guys take a lot out of it. You have, with discipline and being able to manage your time efficiently, you can just accomplish so much. So, Mr. Umaru, thank you once again.
Appreciate it, bro.
No problem.
Yeah.
Remember that, right?
Now go ahead.
Thank you for having me.
Subscribe, do all that, please. And where can they follow you, bro? Before
get your socials.
You can follow me on LinkedIn, Umaru Barrie. Instagram, Last Angry African with a K.
You guys will see that. I'll add it all down.
Yeah, we'll also drop the link.
Okay, awesome. But I did want to say, always reach out to people. For all individuals out there that are, confused or looking for a path, just reach out to people. Like, if you see someone who's doing something you're interested in, email them. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no. As long as you reach out to them, at least you tried. because it's always a no until you try.
Yep.
Right.
So reach out to people.
All right, guys, have heard it from the man himself, Mr. Barrie. All right, we wish you all the best of luck in your journey, and it was great talking to you.
Thank you. Good luck on your clerkships.
All right, definitely.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
For sure.